Yeah, there it is. He's got his podcast face on.
Yeah.
Let's all do a big laugh when we come in to pretend like we were just talking about something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Wow. Well, are we going? Are these on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys. Oh man.
Yeah. These are the times when I wish it was one in the cooler. Whether it be me doing it by myself or me not being here. That's how that joke made me feel.
I'm sure you're not the only one. Sorry. At least I didn't go into one of the ads this time around. Speaking of which, guys, it's party season, and you don't want to show up empty-handed. The good news is with Instacart, you can get whatever it is you're looking for. God, I've already killed him.
Yeah,
the poor guy.
I'm not happy to be here. I'm just happy that you guys are here, honestly. I mean, Stops, when did you come on the first time?
Oh, my gosh.
3.5 years ago.
Tell him what episode number.
29, I believe.
That's crazy.
So that was probably still, well.
It was
maybe
like,
we were
oh,
honest
no,
with
it was Zoom days.
Fall
Definitely
2020. 2020?
Not even
2021?
Zoom days. That was probably
Dropout?
no, what did we used to use?
Oh, yeah. Not Dropout. Discord.
Discord.
When
we had the little guy in there.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah, when we had a
that's
robot
right.
playing Emily.
Yeah. How does that feel, Emily? A robot used to do your job.
And
Emily,
guess what?
Emily reversed AI'd that
Yeah.
shit.
He had a name, didn't he?
Yeah, it was Craig.
Craig.
And Craig was
God.
pretty damn good.
Craig.
What was
was
we
as
paying
good
Craig?
as-
No
nothing.
labor laws
Craig
either
was
there.
free, actually.
Yeah, we could say whatever we wanted to Craig.
And we certainly did.
Yeah.
That poor guy. I think the biggest, I mean, I want to talk a little about music, of course, as well, because obviously that's why you guys are here. Do you guys also do you guys just go by Control?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Control is the name of the band, folks. And I think probably the biggest difference between way back when and now is the band used to be just the two of you guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now there's like upwards of 19 of you on stage or something every time I see your videos.
It keeps growing, right?
Yeah, hopefully we're at a good number at this point.
Yeah. Unless we want to add a triangle player.
I was going to say I
Need
could
some
play a
horns.
mean triangle.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sixth
Sure,
member
I guess-
right there.
Guess there's always room for more.
But I have no rhythm. So
That's okay.
yeah.
You can leave that to me.
Yeah.
You can just improv.
As Derek can probably confirm, he once attempted to teach me to play the saxophone, and it didn't go so well.
I mean, we tried.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I think you
had,
got a sound out of it, so I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
had
more.
the Pink Panther theme song down for a little bit, and then for anybody that's never been in a 5th grade school band, when you do your
Missing out.
your yearly concert, you stand up by instrument and play the
Scales.
scales. And Derek and I
boy.
both played tenor sax, and we stood up to do our scales, and I let out a hard squeak the very first note, and then I just went mum. Let Derek ride it out the rest of the way. So he rocked the scales.
Wait,
so
was it
well.
just the two of you playing?
Yeah, we were the only 2 tenor saxes.
And you
Yep.
so it was obvious that you just stopped.
Probably, but I mean,
that's further than I got, dude. There were 3 trumpet players when I was in the mix, and I didn't even attempt a note. I just let the other 2 guys go, and I just moved my fingers, trying to like match what they were doing, but I did not blow any air into that horn.
I got to give you both a lot of credit, though, because I feel like there was a cop-out in like the band class in 5th grade, and that was if you couldn't or didn't want to play like a main instrument, they just gave you a recorder.
Oh,
And then they had everyone
right.
come out at like the show and just play like Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you
but
didn't
you
do
can't.
that.
Yeah, you can't be one of those guys. I mean,
dude, if I would have known that was an option, because I've told this,
I can't think of anything more embarrassing.
I've told this story before.
Recorder on.
And this is another school band story. It was not 3rd grade, though. I think it was 4th grade. And we were in music. It wasn't like a band, but in music class, we did like an Easter chorus in 5th grade. But it wasn't a chorus. Like you trained for it in music, and then it was during the school day, one day before Easter, you would just play for the students. And I signed up to play the xylophone. That's the right. And
dude, we know what a xylophone.
I'm making sure I know what a xylophone is. I was making sure that I had
Been a
the correct-
marimba.
Yeah, had to make sure I had the correct term for xylophone. And so I signed up to play the xylophone, and I think I was one of one. I think I was the only xylophone player in the class. And then I just never told the music teacher that I wasn't going to be there that day because we were going on vacation. So I just didn't show up. I just wasn't there. So I don't know who.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
who the what's it called when you're like the next person up?
Understudy.
I don't know who my understudy was, but somebody had to take over xylophone duties.
Mrs. Fredericks had to step in.
I think it was
Oh,
Mrs.
yeah.
Gould.
Yeah, Mrs. Gould, the
Yeah.
worst one.
She was well versed in
No
all the
offense.
random instruments.
No
I feel
offense,
like
but we know. I mean, you know.
there was a 1A and
Jared,
a 1B.
you weren't there, but we all know.
I a little bit of an outlier. I wasn't in the school band, but I was in the school orchestra, so I was a violin player. I was on the other side
Whoa.
of that school music
Sheesh.
spectrum.
What year would you have started that? Was that still like? Because we're talking like elementary school now.
Yeah,
It's like
no,
this band. No
I
kidding.
was third grade when I started.
Where'd you go to school, if you don't mind me asking?
I went to Orchard Park.
Yeah, they had a lot more money than we
that's
did.
why.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, dude. Those,
Yeah.
The bands that had, or like the schools that had the strings. Yeah,
That's
that was the place
I
to
can't
be.
even imagine.
We would read about the strings in books, man. Use textbooks.
Dude.
We were reading about the strings, man.
It's like,
That's
what
the
the
closest
hell
we
is
ever
that thing?
got.
Yeah.
That's called a cello.
Yeah.
You'll never be in the same room as one.
Yeah.
And then they just hand us a wrench and send us to Bosie's.
No, but I mean, obviously, you know, we grew up with Derek. We know a lot more about like his musical background.
Right.
I don't want to overpass that, but like growing up, Derek was always from a family of musicians. He was always an unbelievable musician. So was that always something you wanted to do when you were young, or was like third grade when it clicked? Like, I'm gonna start playing instruments, or do you have did it start younger than that?
So the thing that differs between me and Derek is that his parents were very much into instruments, playing music, playing out even. Not so much on my part. Music was just like another extracurricular activity in my household, and my older brother, he started playing violin, so he kind of set the trend. So I kind of followed suit. But the problem was that I started playing drums around the same time. So I was very much geared towards a rhythm section, and I was less equipped to be a melodic player, but I still played the violin for up until I was a sophomore in high school. But all of my direction and all of my focus went towards playing drums outside of school and not for a grade in the orchestra.
Fellow drum player, Andy. There you go. Something
God.
common.
I forgot
Damn
about
it.
that.
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
You had a mean drum kit.
Yeah.
What kind was it? Do you remember?
It was black. That's all. I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
I think I remember
It
that.
was. It was. I think it was Xerox. Did Xerox make drum kits for a while or
Probably.
something?
No, it was Yamaha.
Yeah,
It
okay.
was next to the foosball table, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Very-
right
very-
where you want it.
Very dusty.
Next to the
Yes.
Schultz jersey on the wall.
Yeah. And there was you had drumsticks from the Roots.
Questlove
Oh, that's
drumsticks.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were those.
So
were
I mean,
sick.
you pretty
Those
much
were
had
sick.
it all together.
Yeah, so I could have gone pro. No, I didn't. There was a drum kit. I didn't play the drums.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to actually talking about the drums though. So were you just like practicing on your own, like for fun? Were you taking lessons? Like were you?
Yeah, I was taking lessons at a music shop in East Aurora called Limelight. I was so young that I don't even remember how I got into playing. I guess I just had a notion of it one day and went to my parents. It was like, I want to play the drums, and they actually took it seriously. So then I found
No.
so I was like 8 years old, and that's when I started taking lessons. And then I was taking lessons with the same teacher up until I graduated high school. And then after that, I had enough knowledge to be able to go and learn whatever I wanted on my own and just have the right foundations for that.
Awesome. So then when like from again, I'm sure we probably talked about this a little the first go around, but then how did Control, I guess, start to form? Like where did that relationship begin, and how did it get to where we are now with, like Andrew said, I don't know what the actual number is, I'm not gonna go with 19, but to adding more members and get to where you guys are now.
I mean, I don't know how much you want to.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I can lay like the groundwork, and you can take it home.
What I'll start off with, I'll definitely let you take it. I'll say I started playing live when I was like 11. The music shop that I took lessons at, they had this summer program where they took kids that were learning guitar, learning drums, learning bass, and they would jam them all together and form these little groups, and then there would be 4 or 5 of them, and then they would go rent out spaces in the area, and they would all prepare like 2 or 3 cover songs, and then they just play them live for like all the parents and whoever was there. So that's how I started getting into like actually wanting to play in a group, was through that experience. And then the group that eventually got formed, it went through a couple different phases, but I mean, the guys that we're playing with now are essentially the people that we've been playing with since, I don't know, 2015.
The common link between us is actually Alex Marino.
That's right.
Really?
Which is funny enough because I know, like just another neighborhood guy, right?
Yeah.
Like grew up playing
Street
airsoft
hockey.
and
Yeah,
street hockey with
airsoft,
him,
yeah.
and like I had just picked up guitar on a whim, and I think I just went over to Alex's one day, and he had all his guitars laying around, and I was like kind of showing him like a song I learned, and he was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that you know how to play guitar." And then at that point, he basically was like, "Yeah, I think, I'm in this band. Like, we kind of just need another person to just come in and like play some songs. Like, we play covers." So I was like, "Sure, why not?" Did that, and it actually started off as like an acoustic thing because Jared at the time was away at school.
Yeah.
So all that was really left back at home was the singer, Shannon. So it was her and Alex, and they wanted another guitar player to go play like coffee shops and do like acoustic sets with. So I was like, okay, like that's kind of in my wheelhouse. I could do that. So I agreed to do it. I think we played out at like Spot Coffee like twice. That was really the extent of it. And then the summer rolls around and Jared's back home, and they're like, okay, like you can be in the band now. So I was like, sweet. And we
Quick
just
initiation.
Yeah, I know. It was like
Got to keep his pants on and everything, huh?
trial by fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't lose any digits.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that point then summer rolled around and they had a couple shows lined up, like some grad parties, and we played like the 4th of July in Lewiston in the band shell there, and they brought me in. I had to learn a bunch of songs, and then kind of we had 2 years, I guess, where we were playing summer shows together as a band, and then that's where everyone just kind of went to college, and then Jared and I, we kind of were becoming friends and found out we had a lot in common musically, and like other than that, we started hanging out and just kind of on our own. We started just kind of writing songs together, just kind of messing around just when we were bored, and that's kind of where it started. So
Yeah.
So then what happened after that?
Well, okay, so I'm trying to think of where we are in the timeline. I guess when we were in my at my parents' house in my room writing all of our material, we had big aspirations, but what we ended up deciding to do, because we knew that was going to be too much to take on at one point, was just to release a very short project just to get something out there.
And this is all just like in our bedroom.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we were just
this is
like
super
we're
low
just messing
budget.
around. Like we didn't really have any connections or anything like that. We didn't have the money to go like record it. So we're
No.
like, oh well, we'll just try to record it ourselves and like
Self-mic'd. I think the
the
most
raw
expensive
tracks.
equipment we had was like a $250 like interface for my drums. Like once I got that and was able to do like multi-track recording, I was like, man, here we go. This is
made it, boys.
awesome.
To the moon. We made it.
Yeah. So Derek did all of the mixing, all of anything that wasn't the lyrics or drums was Derek's side of the part, because I didn't know really how to do any of that.
I was just mashing buttons. I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, for at the time, it was what we needed. So we ended up getting that out. That was October 2020.
Right around the time I did the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So October 2020. So we do that, and then again, we were still in, or at least I was still in school, and you were still you're ahead of me, so you were working. I had to finish my degree, and then after that, we were like, well, now what? Let's like actually try to form a group and start writing more content, because we really enjoyed the process, but we're like, now that we're older and we have a little bit more funding,
Yeah.
and a little bit more access to other musicians, we're like, maybe we could turn this into an actual group. So that's what ended up happening. So so we bring back Alex, we bring back Shannon, and then we just needed a bassist, and
We found Kyler.
we found Kyler, who's
He's a beast.
he's the best.
Yeah. How does that happen? How do you find somebody else to be in a band?
It depends. We got really lucky with Kyler, because he's married to one of Shannon's college friends, and he just happens to be like the most insane bassist of all time.
Yeah, it just was like he just came over to jam one day, and we're like, I think he kind of knew that we were like looking for someone and all that, but like he's a pretty humble guy, and he just kind of showed up, and we were like,
well, what happened?
That's exactly what we needed.
Yes, he's exactly what we needed. The thing was that the issue that we were running into is that we were writing these, layered songs, but there were only two of us, so we're like, we'll never be able to play this
We can't
live.
play them out.
So, Shannon mentions that her friend's husband is able to play bass, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like, what kind of stuff is he into? He's like, progressive rock, just like pretty much anything. But like I mentioned that we played Rush and that we experiment in those realms, and he's like, oh yeah, that's what he's into. So I was like, well, bring him over, let's try to jam. And we picked a couple songs to cover just to have something to do when we finally got together, and it ended up going really well. And I mean, he's still with us over a year and a half later, so
yeah.
I say this all the time. Anytime we have like musicians on, I wish that I had enough like skill in my body to one day be able to be like, hey, anybody want to come jam? Like, let's just jam. Like, I'll never be able to jam, boys, and that's really gonna weigh on me forever. But like, that just sounds so fun. Just being able to jam.
You got to let the jam come to you, Matthew.
Listen.
Gotta open the doors, man.
I may say a lot of things, but I'm self-aware enough to know that I don't jam.
But to answer your question specifically, how do you find people to play music? I mean, again, first you look and see who's around you, and then you see maybe who they know. And if you can't find anyone after that point, I mean, there are plenty of local musicians that are trying to find groups to get together with.
Yeah, I've been trying to build a network of like people that play music, and like, I don't know, here and there, like I've gone and just jammed with random people, and just like a hangout thing, like there's maybe you agree on like some songs or like a couple things to jam, but it's more like just a way of hanging out. Like, yeah, you can hang out and watch like sports, you can hang out and play some guitars together. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally the routine that Derek and I do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we come hang out, maybe we'll jam for an hour, and then we'll like throw a movie on.
Yeah.
That's pretty much our routine.
So with Control now that you guys, there's like 5 of you guys now, how is, I mean, obviously your creative process has got to be a lot different from just the two of you sitting in a bedroom. Is it a lot of like people are bringing their own stuff to the table and you guys all kind of go through it together and decide what's up?
Yeah, I always try to emphasize everyone bring ideas, and even if it's like really granular and it's like nothing crazy, even if it's just like a 3-second like little lick or something like that. So typically someone will just send a video in our group chat and be like, I just came up with this, or like a sound recording. And then I think at that point what usually happens is we kind of usually get together and we just kind of, I don't know, we just try to unpack it. Like I usually like to try and figure out like, all right, what kind of key are we in? What kind of chords are we in? And then from there, it's just, we kind of try to come up with like a rough structure with it. And then the part that comes after that is what we're trying to work on right now, is like refining our ideas. Because like, yeah, you can write a song start to finish. You got these nice sections to it, but like, how do you make all those sections sound unique and different? Like, you don't want to do the same thing over and over again in a song. So like that refining process, I feel like now is like what we're really focusing on doing with some of our original stuff. But I don't know. I really like when everyone has ideas and can bring them in and then like kind of just throw it in the pot. Sometimes like you Frankenstein it. You can take an idea that like someone else came up with and be like, I think this would work really well with the idea you just gave us. And then you maybe need to come up with something to bridge them together. And I don't know. I feel like we talk about it a lot, like what we're trying to do. Sometimes ideas just come from jamming. We've had that happen before. But I feel like there's not really one specific way that things happen. It's just kind of like, it all really depends on who brings the idea and then like, I guess what the next thought with it is, Yeah.
So is there a lot, do you guys find yourselves now having to think a lot more about how, so maybe an idea, a little lick or something that you guys have, how that's going to like work with or affect the play of everybody else in the group?
Yeah, because like the biggest thing, like when I'm trying to come up with ideas, I'm like, okay, we got 2 guitarists, we got a bassist, we got a female singer, and then we have Jared, right? So it's like, how do I come up with something?
Sure.
Yeah.
How do I come up with something that can work with that whole like assortment of people, because like you don't want to, I don't know, you don't want to try to do something that isn't within the skill set of everybody.
Yeah.
Because then it might just, I don't know, you can try, but I don't know. I try to keep in mind, like, all right, if I'm coming up with a guitar part, is there something that another guitar would work with on it? You know, like how can I make them blend well, all that. And like, I feel like the more people you add to a band, the harder it is to kind of blend everything together. So, you know, I try to keep it in mind when I'm writing stuff, just to like, just make sure that it makes sense, you know?
Interesting. Okay. So it's like working things out. It's more, you're thinking, I mean, it sounds like you're thinking a little more like technically about how these elements are going to work together. So where does the tone come from? Like the maybe that is the best way to say it, but like the I guess creative sound, like the sound that defines control, like what that is. Where does that come from? Because that feels a little more metaphysical, perhaps.
I guess what I could speak to that is between myself, Derek, and Alex, and not that Kyler and Shannon are part of this, but like Derek is very much on the analog side of things. Like he has his pedals and he has one guitar, versus Alex, who has this insane digital processor and like 8 guitars. So it's like
I think it's more than that.
I probably it's like overproduction. Not that that's a bad thing, but very heavy production versus very minimal production. That is definitely something that's very apparent, especially when for me, like when we play live, like those sounds are not clashing or in any way not compatible. But that, I think that is a unique part of the group, because you're very adamant about your setup and Alex is very adamant about his setup, and combining those two is definitely a challenge, but I do think that lends a hand to how we sound.
And I'd say for like overall, for like when we're writing songs, like what kind of feel do we give them? It's fun. Like it's funny. Like sometimes you'll have an idea, you'll bring it, you'll jam it, you'll kind of develop it, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, what if we did it in like a swing beat, and then I put my wah pedal on and then like let's make it funky. Or like sometimes you might want to just change slight things to like maybe make it sound like a slightly different genre. You want something to sound kind of like Western or Southern or, you know, funky, or you want to make it heavier. You add a bunch of distortion on your guitar, and then like Jared just starts kicking his drums like crazy. And it's like you can really take an idea and then really easily just move it into different types of sounds and genres. So like we all like really different music. So like I don't know. The ideas that I usually bring to the table and like the way they sound in my head are going to be vastly different than like pretty much everybody else, because like everyone's got their own like music, you know?
Right. That's what I was trying to get at when I said that between you and me and Alex, it's like we cover a very wide spectrum of music taste and genres. So when we're all writing stuff, you know, maybe like the project that we're currently working on, there's no real through line in terms of all the songs and how they sound, but they are very unique. And I mean, would you agree that each song is pretty much
they all have a different
thing?
Type of flavor to them.
Like we have this weird funky song that's like in 7, but then we have like this drop D, I want to call it metal, but it's like a very heavier type of sound, and they're just going to be like on the same project, and that's how it is. Yeah, that's how we work.
Yeah, that's got to be something that I think has really come around, I guess benefited from like the digital age, because people buy or listen to individual songs so much more than they do like albums now.
I feel like people don't do that anymore, though. I feel like when you like, if you listen to like an old album or whatever, like it can be like that. Like you'll go from song 2 to 3 are completely different genres of music almost, whereas now people try to stay consistent throughout a whole album because of the fact that they want people to listen to the whole thing, not just one song. So they're trying to go after a specific group.
See, I feel like it's the opposite.
Really?
I mean, I'm thinking
I said
like,
that, and I really don't listen to that much music. So.
But I mean, really, it's like, what do you guys think? But if you look at like the Beatles, right? Like,
oh my God,
their albums, you know, Magical Mystery Tour sounds so different from like Meet the Beatles or whatever, right? But it's in Sgt. Pepper, but it's like album by album, as opposed to now it's more like track by track.
The Beatles blow my mind because they invented like 6 genres in like 5 years. Like every album that came out is like, that's never been done before.
It is insane when you realize how short of a time they were actually famous for.
That's true.
So they came over, God, it's been so long since I thought about this. 64, I believe.
Shea
and
Stadium.
then they were done in 69.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's insane.
And isn't it weird how different they look too?
Yeah.
Like they look like they aged like
5
20
years.
years.
Has
You're
drugs,
so right.
If we're being
Drugs,
honest,
sure.
drugs plays a big factor there in both the way that they look and the differences in music.
Right.
I'm sure. Yeah, they did. They went through like every decade in 5 years, is what they
It's
did.
insane.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Weed, cocaine, mushroom. They went through like the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
That's just
Album by
how,
album.
I mean, that's just how people aged back then. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
What's that movie with John C. Reilly?
Dewey Cox.
Yeah.
Walk Hard.
Walk hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie sucks, by the way, in my opinion. But
I just watched that like last year.
I like some parts in that.
It was
I like
goofy. It was very goofy.
yeah, very goofy, very of its time. I would say of like if we're looking at movies of a parody genre, production quality wise, at the very least, that one's up there more so than like the scary movies or like the all the ones of that superhero movie,
Right.
Not Another Teen Movie.
what's the one that? What's the movie that we saw when we were children?
Oh, Epic movie.
The Epic movie.
Oh my
Now
God.
that's a great parody movie.
No, that's what we're talking about.
No, I'm all in on that movie.
Dewey Cox. I like the part in Dewey Cox though, where like he keeps going into the bathrooms, and like, you don't want none of this, Dewey. He's like, I think I might actually want some of that. That's kind of funny. And that Beatles scene is great with Jack Black and Paul Rudd.
The guy from the Wes Anderson movies, is he in it?
Yeah, Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember the movie that much. The reason I probably assume I don't like it is because Alex Bauer made me watch it. So I just instantly assume
I mean, that's gonna
whatever he likes
Yeah.
is probably no good.
that'll put a black note on it. Hey, 1 out of 1,000, that kid hits a home run.
Yeah,
but it's a
yeah.
lot.
When he said, like he performed one of the funniest jokes of all time. He was on a couple weeks ago and told it. But that was the only thing he's ever done that was actually worth laughing at.
Yeah, but you gotta
Quality over
step up
quantity.
to the plate if you want to swing.
Yeah.
If you want to swing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I think that adds up. Folks, don't forget to check out the brand new Patreon page. It's patreon.com/snackspot. Link is going to be in this episode description. You're going to want to check it out now. We've got a bunch of episodes of the Captions On podcast stuff on there right now. We've got a lot of stuff in the works, especially now that the weather's getting warmer. Things, we're going to be putting up some exclusive content and programming up there. So be sure to check it out. Oh, and the best part is it's only $3 a month right now. So once again, patreon.com/snackspot. Hit the link in the episode description. Check it out. Sign up today. Folks, don't be the person who shows up to the party empty-handed, okay? Those days are behind you, all right? But the good news is, even if you forget something and you need a little dish to bring last minute, maybe some of those, maybe, a dessert like those mini cupcakes or something, maybe a veggie tray. I don't know what your friends like. Hopefully you do. But the good news is, whatever they like, you can find it and get it delivered right to your front door when you use Instacart. And not only can you get groceries, but you can also get lots of your favorite products from some of your favorite local stores delivered right to you via Instacart. And the best part is, right now, 2 in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on their first order of $10 or more. All you got to do is spend $10 and Instacart will deliver whatever it is you're looking for right to your front door. No delivery fee. All you have to do to get that deal is hit the link in this episode description. Make things a little easier on yourself today and start using Instacart. Folks, a great way to support the show is actually do something nice for yourself and check out all the great merch we have got over at snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com. All kinds of great stuff, not just for this show, but for Schemin' and Dreamin' and Quested, the other 2 podcasts that we produce here as well. And you're going to find all kinds of great stuff on there. Long sleeve t-shirts, hoodies, blend t-shirts. I cannot talk enough about how comfortable these things are. We've got a lot of cool accessories as well, mugs, drinkware. We've got bucket hats, fanny packs, notebooks. The slides are actually super sick. Whatever it is you're looking for, okay? Stuff that's going to make you look good, make you feel good about yourself, all right? And once again, that's at snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com. Hit the link in this episode description. Go check it out for yourself. And if you're interested in advertising on this show or our twin show, Schemin' and Dreamin', or Quested, the Dungeons & Dragons podcast that we produce over here, you can email us at snackspotsports@gmail.com for details on how you can start reaching thousands of listeners in the Buffalo area and beyond. Because podcast advertising has been shown to be upwards of 19% more effective than, your traditional TV ads or, I don't know, whatever people use, bus benches, whatever people advertise on. And it's cool to see companies, along with that, like McDonald's, State Farm, they're moving into the podcast ad business. And it's really, really cool to see them head into that space and kind of away from the more traditional media like some of the ones I just mentioned. But the problem is it hasn't really left any room for smaller local businesses to get in on the action. But that's what we are here for. That's what we are all about. So again, if you're interested in learning about all the benefits of podcast advertising, hit us up at snackspotsports@gmail.com. Let's talk a little horror movies, huh? How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I knew Derek, obviously you were, but Jared, you
I'm
were
also-
mentioning some ones in there that I have not heard of before.
It's one of the many things that Derek and I are friends because of. Is our
I just
deep
saw,
passion for horror movies.
I bet you I took 10 years off my life in the amount of sweet and spicy chili Doritos that I ate in Derek's living room watching horror movies as a child.
It was all the Mountain Holler, too.
Yeah, a lot of Mountain Holler was
Carcinogens
top
were high in
Bs.
that one, man.
Yeah.
There's no way that's still on the streets, Mountain Holler. That went the way of the original Four Loko. They had to take it away
we're two
from
of the,
the
only
public.
we're two of the only people that didn't get like instant.
It was too dangerous.
Yeah.
I feel like that was
Life-altering diseases.
Yeah,
It glowed. It literally glowed.
I mean I hear people talk about like Surge and even Jolt all the time. Like they had the most sugar and most caffeine. Mountain Holler was definitely like the follow up to those ones.
I
Like,
think
they
it
still
was
got it out there.
high 60s, like 67 grams of sugar in like a 12-ounce can or something like that.
It was insane.
It was like ridiculous.
And it was still holding on to that artwork, I feel like, from the late
Oh,
90s
just-
of like
it was
a guy.
It was just rad, man.
It was
It was
rad.
a very
it was
rad
very
soda.
rad.
It was
It's about as rad as a soda can get. And like the guy on the picture, or on the can screaming like,
frosted tips.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
thing is like the can was all green, but you could tell he had frosted tips just by like the
Just his
positioning of-
silhouettes, yeah.
by his silhouette.
I think he had like weird glasses on, like those
you
like
gotta.
like those 90s glasses that like wrap around your head.
Yeah, it's all
They're
like,
like
one piece.
It's like a bubble almost, like
Yeah.
around the
Yeah, like
guy
what's
was
his
sick
name?
in the
Like
quad.
like a guy that has sick in the quad, like a guy that has laser vision eyes.
Yeah, like Cyclops.
Cyclops,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Laser vision eyes. I got there eventually, but back to horror movies.
Oh yeah, I just watched John Carpenter's The Thing for the first time.
Oh man,
That was the first time you seen
Yeah,
it?
I
Wow.
never. I was pretty adverse to like creepy movies, I guess, for a while. But that was, dude, the practical effects. I mean, holy shit, man.
Oh, everything was just made by some guy.
Yeah,
That's
I can't
the
remember what
best.
that. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna
One
look
more.
up
Sorry,
who it is,
I
actually.
zoned out. I got
The
I got
Thing. Have you ever seen The Thing? John Carpenter. It's like
there are several versions, but obviously the one
the
we're talking
84
about.
one. They're in like Alaska. It might have been Tom Savini. I wonder who did the effects.
That sounds right.
He did like the Friday the 13th Part 4 stuff. But yeah, they're on like a base in Alaska, and they find some weird stuff, and they kind of get trapped inside this. It's almost like a research center. I don't know. You've probably seen it get parodied in other places, probably.
that's true.
But no, it's one of the best, like in terms of practical effects that you can find.
God damn it! Like, just look at that. That's all. Dude, it's so crazy. And like the way the things move and everything.
Oh,
yeah,
like,
it's
how did they
terrifying.
do
Yeah,
that
I wonder if
shit?
it might almost be like stop motion or something.
Yeah,
it has
it's
like a
gotta
really
be.
weird kind of look to it when things move.
But that was very creepy. Even when stop motion is not creepy, it's still there is something
Yeah.
very a little off-putting
It's
about
very
it.
uncanny.
because it's non-human movements.
Right.
You don't like the way it looks.
I'm terrible at googling.
Yeah,
so.
you are the worst Googler ever.
We need a
Just
Jamie.
on some deep
Dude.
website with a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, if you want porn, I can get that for you.
Oh, yeah.
In multiple seconds.
go to
I mean,
history.
Whatever. Just whatever's bookmarked. They'll probably have what you're looking for there, sir. I can't find it. Yeah, but as far as like horror movies go, I find myself a little more attracted to like the classics. Another one I just watched for the first time was The Exorcist. I went on like a run of like I gotta watch these for the first time. Let me ask you guys a question about that movie because there's something I don't understand. And Emily read the book, and I'm not sure we ever settle on a point on this. But like, so how does that girl get possessed? It's like something with
There's that artifact or something.
It's tied
something gets
to that.
dug
yeah.
up.
yes, because when I'm watching the movie, because at the beginning that guy is in the desert and he finds that thing, right? Which is
Yeah.
obvious. I mean, obviously, that's got demon written all over that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
gotta
of
know
course.
if you roll up into a tomb and you see that, you touch it, you're asking. I mean, that's your fault.
Yeah.
But then when they're at the house, the girl is like making things out of Play-Doh. Like they have some.
Oh,
of her
she's in the basement.
Yeah, they have some
Oh,
of her
yeah.
like Play-Doh sculptures.
And she makes the
sitting
thing.
around. That's what I can't understand. That's what I'm trying to piece together. Is like, did she just accidentally make like a demon statue and then it got to her, or
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. So my knowledge of it isn't up to
yeah,
date.
sorry.
No, it's a good question.
The
I mean, 'cause
most
you're right.
obscure
Doesn't-
thing
I'm
you
trying to
can
get to
think
the
of,
optics.
It's a very good question. I feel like there is an answer out there.
Yeah.
What do you think the thing is that like? Is there something that modern horror movies are missing that they had back then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a bunch of stuff. I mean, I'll start with one. I mean, you were just looking up practical effects.
Sure.
Now,
Oh, yeah.
there are a lot of movies that are kind of going back to them,
Mm-hmm.
like new ones that are coming out. Like it's kind of become like
There's a
It's
little
almost
bit of
like
a
a-
resurgence.
yeah,
A
it's
little bit of a little bit of a renaissance.
a little bit, where people are just because CGI, man, like unless it's done really well, like it just takes me so out of it. Like if I just see something that just doesn't look like it's reflecting a shadow, So I feel like that's one of the biggest thing is the practical effects. All those old movies, like they just had to like build the stuff because computer effects back then were like pretty rough. Like they had to like project stuff. Like that was their computer effects back then. It was like projecting stuff over like film in order
Yeah.
to get it in there. So yeah, I think that would be probably the biggest thing. I don't know what else you got.
I mean, there's just a lack in seriousness of writing for some of these movies. It's just like you can just tell with some of these new horror movies is that they're just so little care is put into the actual project itself. I don't know what is really responsible for that, but it seems like whoever's making these movies, they just know that if they put out a film that's got X amount of jump scares and has like some really creepy entity in it, it's like they just know that that's all they need to do in order to ring in some cash. But
And you could tell that like the movie, like all the box office horror movies are very much like it's the sole purpose is designed to like jump scare.
yeah,
And a lot of these movies, they all have like very similar tropes, and I feel like they're kind of made all in like the same uniform way. But then like there's all like the indie movies and like the smaller production movies. Like those are usually the ones that like have a little more craft to them, and I feel like are more like movies, so to speak, than like just like, oh, I want to go with my friends and like go sit in a movie theater and get like I want to jump and like be like look at a crazy monster at the end of it, and So I feel like there is really good movies out there that are new, but like the mainstream like production box office stuff is all very much so like kind of a one-dimensional movie.
And I feel like it's because they're pumping so much money into them that they have to follow the formula that they know is going to work, and that's why they're all the same. At least that's my opinion. That's my take.
No, that's a good point. I mean, you could say that for pretty much any genre across the board these days.
Oh, yeah,
you
definitely.
know? I mean, that's the big complaint with like Marvel movies is that they're all the same movie.
They don't make that many action movies. They still make good action movies for sometimes, but they don't
Yeah,
make
I'd say that's true.
like horror movies and comedies don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
That's kind of true.
comedies definitely don't exist. I guess because they just like
I never thought
didn't
about
rake
that.
in the money back in the day,
Dude, like
or whenever.
you
But
can, and the reason I think about it all the time is because you can only watch the same horror movie or comedy movie again so many times.
that's a
Yeah.
great point.
And like I've been kind of outside of Dune, I've been kind of on a movie hiatus because there has, except for Dune and what was the other movie I just watched? We talked about. Fuck, dude, and it was from the golden age of cinema.
2008.
Yeah. Emily, what movie was it?
The talked about last week?
No,
it was the one with the
the
high
guy.
school
It was
fighters.
Karate Kid-esque.
I don't.
Never Back Down.
Never Back
Never
Down.
Back
Oh,
Down.
I
Are
have
you
a
familiar?
vague recollection of that.
Dude.
I don't think I would.
One of the
That
best
very
films.
vague.
Honestly, I can't believe it didn't win an Emmy
Was it
or
like
an Oscar,
street
whatever.
fighting or something?
Kind of. Yeah, we don't need to. We can't get back.
Can we
into
watch
that.
it?
dude? Yeah, we fucking should watch it, dude, because it's an unreal movie. But
I remember
no, like
this.
there's like. I mean,
Ooh,
think
extended
about
beatdown.
we were just
edition.
watching Happy Gilmore in there. Like Happy Gilmore, great movie. And then there was that time period like when we were probably like growing up, prime comedy time, with like starting. I don't know what started it, but like everything from like Talladega Nights, like all those Will Ferrell movies were funny. All of like the who's the chubby curly-haired guy?
Seth Rogen.
Jonah Hill.
Seth Rogen, both of those guys, like all those movies were so funny. And now funny movies are not funny anymore. The last funny movie that came out, somebody brought up to me today, Staten Island Summer.
Yes, I mean that is true, but that also direct to streaming, and I think that's probably something for both these genres. That is the big thing. Is that a lot of them still get put out, but most of them are like just straight to digital or something.
But
like
I feel like that should help, like to the point that we were just got brought up. Like, if it's direct to streaming, you're not really as worried about box office numbers, right? You'd think.
Yeah, but I think there's also something there where like these movies aren't being put into theaters by big studios because they can be made for cheap, so that almost cheapens them. Like, it's almost as if maybe they feel like this movie is not going to make as much money unless we spend a lot of money to make the Dune or,
Right.
some of the movies that aren't as good as that, but that, have kind of come before in the past couple of years.
What was the last box office horror film that came out that you guys would say is like a good movie?
Well, it depends on
Like
how big
like
of a
if
studio you're
we're
talking.
talking like just a movie that is outside of horror is a great movie. Hereditary.
Oh yeah,
That's like
Right.
that
That
movie.
was-
That's just a great film.
Yeah, that was the last one. I mean, that comes to mind for me.
I don't-
I haven't seen it, but
I don't know if you count
mean, You
Midsommar.
hear about it all the time,
but that was a year or two later.
Same guy, Ari Aster.
Same guy, same
Yeah.
studio.
right?
I mean, Hereditary was, I think, much more terrifying in like a horror movie sense. Midsommar was kind of more of a, I'm not gonna call it psychological.
It's
but
psychedelic, man.
it's like a
If
psychedelic
anything.
horror movie. So, but I mean, we just went to go see Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, that was great. I don't know if you guys have seen
awesome.
Oh
that.
yeah, no, but I mean, I've only seen it because it's been on Amazon a bunch.
Oh yeah, they're
Like the
Yeah, I think it's
early
up there.
release thing, you mean?
I don't know.
it's on
Oh,
Shudder
yeah, it
too.
is. Yeah.
But did he get? Is that movie in the theaters?
Oh, yeah.
We went and saw it in there. I'm
Oh,
surprised
sick.
you haven't seen it because I know you like your late night shows.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
so
I know.
good.
I've been thinking about watching it. Actually.
They're-
I like that actor too.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
They're releasing
Gas Melchain.
Late Night on like VHS. They're doing like a VHS
Oh, yeah.
format of
That would
movie.
look great.
And I'm like, that would be fun to cool. It'd be cool to sit down and watch that on VHS because it's like what it's made for. You're watching it, and you're like, this looks like it came off of VHS.
Interesting.
Track.
So it has a little bit of that.
Oh yeah,
That
it's
thing.
a,
Little grainy.
it's a found footage movie. It's like it's like we found a reel of like a late night show from like 1970 something, and it's kind of plays like you're watching a late night show.
Yeah.
Like that's the format of it, which I thought was pretty cool. Other than it being like filmed with cuts and all that, and then they had their backstage footage too, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
To kind of fill it out. But no, it was great.
It just goes.
I
It
lo-
goes. I mean, I won't say much.
I
but
love
it
a good
goes
old-fashioned
pretty
found
crazy
footage.
places.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, we used to watch a lot of found footage.
Yeah.
That would. I mean,
Dude, we watched
it
some
had a
really
big
but
pop.
I still
we
love
watched
found
some
footage.
really like shitty, that were like shitty, scary movies that were unreal. I had to watch Grave Encounters 140 times.
Oh, that's
How
like,
much money do you think you spent renting just Grave
Oh,
Encounters?
I couldn't even put a number on it. Let's see. I just
How
said
much were
100.
movies back then?
We were just talking about this today. 279.
270.
$2.79
for
48
That
hours.
sounds right on.
Some were
It was
$1.99.
$2.99. Yeah, some were $1.99.
So that was probably a $1.99 film. So I mean, probably $400.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had to watch the movie at least 20
Dude.
times between both of them.
I did that with the movie Prisoners.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it. I rented it like four
So good.
times in a because some of them you would only get for 24 hours. I don't know what the distinction was, but I watched it the first time 24 hours or until you complete watching it. Like that's how it was.
Yeah.
Like the second it hit 0 seconds, you couldn't watch it again. So I watched it the first time. You might have been with me.
I think so, because I distinctly remember you talking about that movie on the bus.
And then I literally watched it, and then I put it on again, right? Like I re-rented it and watched it again
that's
right
hilarious.
after because I couldn't fucking figure it out. And then I think I watched it again like 2 days later, and I was like, I still don't know what's happening.
I still have not watched that movie.
Dude, that movie is so
Oh,
good.
That's
I
a,
know.
yeah, Derek put me on that one.
It just
That's
seems
a
like
great
it
film.
seems really intense, and I don't know. I
Very intense.
gotta really try and focus and sit down. But once I do, I like another
Good
Jake Gyllenhaal
cast,
flick,
too. who's the-
Zodiac. Like I gotta be in the
also-
right mood.
Have
to
you
watch
never
that.
seen
That's true.
Zodiac?
No, I have seen Zodiac,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm saying I gotta be in the right mood to like sit down and like really.
It's a very methodical
I want to
movie.
focus
Yeah,
on this.
yeah.
I like
Long-
Zodiac. The one scene in that movie that is my favorite scene is when he goes to the woman's house to get like the information about the play or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
he goes
Yeah,
to he goes to the guy who works at the movie theater.
Yes.
because
Oh,
he's
but-
looking for a movie poster.
Yes.
with the basement.
Yeah. And but that's the guy too, right? That he thinks. Well, that's who I thought it was at least.
I don't
'cause
think
that,
they ever settled on them.
I
well,
don't
they
think-
never
I think
did
it's
because
that-
they never
yeah.
caught him. But that is who I think in the movie it is, and the reason that I think that is because of that scene. Like that's the
the
scene. that-
calligraphy, and then like I didn't think
Yeah.
there was basements in
Yeah.
California or something like
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene was fucking creepy. But Prisoners, you should watch Prisoners. Who's the dad? Gerard.
No, it's
Hugh
Hugh
Jackman.
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. That's who it is. Who was I thinking of?
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
of the Olympus Has Down or Olympus
Yeah, yeah.
Has Fallen series.
I was
Yeah.
gonna go
Yeah.
with what's that other movie I love? Where
White
he-
House Down.
No, yeah, I do. Here's the thing, I do like both.
Oh, wait,
of those
that's
movies.
that's a say. Wait, what was I just fucking?
No, Olympus Has Fallen. You're
Oh,
right.
Olympus and White House Down is Channing
Tatum.
That's okay.
Those
yeah,
movies
yeah.
have always been the same thing in my brain. I
They
don't
are.
know why.
They came
I
out
don't know
very
why.
close
But
to
I
each other.
will
Do
say,
they both have Morgan Freeman?
No. It's Jamie
only-
Foxx and the Channing Tatum
Yeah,
one.
but Olympus Has Fallen is okay. London Has Fallen is a good movie, and Angel Has Fallen really pulls it all together.
That's it.
If
Hey,
you're ever-
White House Down never got a sequel.
I know,
These
and it
ones,
should have.
a trilogy, a whole
Because
ass
there's a whole
Fallen
scene.
trilogy.
Who'd you say was the president in that one?
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, there's a scene where Jamie Foxx runs back into a room where there's people trying to murder him to grab his Jordans. Or he's like, or no, he gets pissed because he has to kick a guy in the face because they're messing up his Jordans. I mean, that's a memorable
Terrific.
scene to me.
Do,
Wow.
do you think it would have been White House Down 2, or would it have been something else down?
Mount Vernon down.
Mount Vernon. The Hoover Dam down.
Yeah, the Hoover. Dude. Now that's a horror
Nobody's
movie.
made that. Nobody's you know.
The Hoover Dam is vastly underutilized in cinema.
The government, well, probably
think
because the government probably has a lock on that. Hey, no Hoover Dam.
Well, it was in Transformers, right?
That's true.
Oh,
That's
dang,
the
was
last time
it?
I've
Okay.
seen it.
It's true. But yeah, because I'm pretty sure there's a secret compound within Hoover Dam that's like for
What are they doing there?
for
Oh, it's
like
like-
social elites, and they meet there and they drink baby blood, and they like if
Oh,
there's
no.
ever
Which airport is it that?
Denver.
Denver.
The Denver one.
Yeah.
That's right.
yeah.
They
It's
got
like
some
that.
What did I make?
weird paintings there.
I made a comment about that to somebody the other day. Oh, at the Buffalo airport, because I just found out. Did you know that? So if you go to the Buffalo airport, I'm assuming you've both been, and you can park in the ramp. You know, well, it's a garage. It's just one floor, and then above it is like the arrivals, and then you can walk through it departures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you know that under that ramp there's another ramp for the rental cars?
Had
I
no
don't think
idea.
so.
No.
Makes
thought it
me
was
just
just the
think what
two.
else is going on down there. You know?
How
Just
deep
put-
is
just-
there?
yeah.
A third parking
Yeah,
ramp?
just put.
Is there one below that
Just
one?
putting that out there, just so everybody knows.
Most conspiracies go all the way to the top. This one goes all the way to the
Yeah.
bottom, baby.
Do you guys have a favorite conspiracy?
I got
The
a
birds
million.
aren't real one. I thought was so funny.
Wait, which one is
I
that?
thought
The
that was.
birds aren't real.
Oh, that was kind of like
Oh,
a joke
yeah.
conspiracy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It-
It's not
was.
like actually a
And then
conspiracy
somebody,
theory.
yeah,
I-
that one I loved.
I love a conspiracy theory. We went on for a while about Finland.
Oh yeah,
Finland.
well,
What's up
well,
with that?
Why are they eating all that fish?
Well, there's a conspiracy theory that Finland's not real. It's a country that Japan made up to keep people like out of international waters so that like Japan can use them. I think
what?
that's how it went.
Wait,
Godzilla
but,
tests.
No, for
Oh.
like whatever. Fishing. I don't
Godzilla.
know.
but they're
tests.
so separated geographically. Like I just
Yeah,
wonder.
maybe what?
See, that's
yeah.
that's a problem. Is
Somebody-
to debunk that conspiracy, you gotta know where things are on a
I did
map.
not.
and
The
that's-
precondition is
You
you
could
have
have
to
told
believe
me
flat
Finland
Earth
was next.
before you can believe.
Yeah, you could have told me Finland was next to Japan. I would have bet. I would have been all over it. Like, yeah, that's exactly where the theory came from.
Japan's an island.
Well, I
right
know.
next to it is Finland, baby.
Now, Matt, how good is your knowledge of geography from hockey? At least Europe, right? Because I picture Finland, Sweden, Norway, right?
Yeah, I can
big
do
three.
like most of I can get like from like not good.
Doesn't sound
Not
like you can
good.
get a lot.
I get like Europe, like Africa, Asia area, kind of pretty locked
So
down.
continents. I mean,
Yeah, I'm a
that's
continent guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to look at the
He
big
thinks
picture.
really high level,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big continent guy. Domestically, I've got it pretty much down to a pat. I don't think I could go all 50 states, but I could come close.
Al Franken, he can draw a map of the U.S. from memory and get all the states in the
He's a
right places.
savant.
Yeah. I mean,
Crazy.
that sounds like my worst nightmare. I'm gonna have a panic dream about that tonight. I can almost guarantee it.
I wish I could do that. Draw a map.
There's
I've
like those
never
guys.
atta-
Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
you go.
I was gonna say, have you seen those guys that do that thing? It's like, I don't know if it's like an app or a website, but it'll show you like a street view of like some random place in the world, and then they have to like take a pin
they
Oh, like
figure out
geoguessr?
what it is.
drop
They-
it on
yeah,
the map.
They do like speed geoguessing.
and
I've
they
heard about
that.
It's insane. And then if you like watch a guy that like talks it out as he does it, like his thought process, he's like, oh, that kind of tree, like that type of building material, like that type of road, like it's
Yeah.
insane, man.
Yeah, some people are scary good at that kind of thing because like
They
the
do- they
image that they're
stream it.
given, it's just like a barren desert or just like it looks like it was taken like in the middle of the woods and like, okay, this has got to be like at least in Europe, and you're like, how do you?
And then
know
they're
that?
like 2 miles off it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
literally the exact coordinates of
Damn.
like where it is.
It's
If you showed
pretty
me like a
weird.
picture of a highway with a sign that said Cincinnati on it, I'd be like,
Ah.
I don't know, Kentucky, which would be close. Just saying. But I don't.
That's crazy. That's some damn, dude. That's some real CIA type stuff.
Oh,
right
those
there.
guys are getting plucked for sure.
Yeah, you
Oh, yeah,
got
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Damn, man.
That's got to feel
I'm so
good.
embarrassed that I
hope
oh
one
my
day.
God.
Imagine,
Can you even
imagine being a parent and you get a knock at your door one day and it's the fucking CIA and they're like about to arrest you. They're like, who just hacked into NASA?
Well, they do that.
And it's like, yeah, and it's like, it wasn't me, but I have a 7-year-old son upstairs, and he's just clicking away, hacking NASA at 7.
You ever hear of that like
Scorpion
locust
reference.
thing? It's like the locust like project or something like
Oh,
that.
cicada.
Cicada, yeah.
Project
Cicada 3301. I think that's like the real name.
I
of it.
haven't, but I'm all in already.
going-
How
alright,
can I fund
sorry.
it?
How well
I'm
versed
hopping
are you
in
on
the
So
it?
I know a little bit about this. I'm not gonna sit here and act
What is
like
it?
I know it.
Cicada 3.
3301.
Oh, there it is.
So basically, it was like this riddle shows up. I don't think it was the dark web or anything, but word got around that there was this puzzle, and there were clues in it, or it was a big riddle, and it was like a cryptography. Cryptography, steganography. You basically had to have a well-versed understanding of how to deconstruct data in order to get past
Like from
whatever.
a digital image.
Yeah.
Got it.
So it's just like basically anything. One thing, you solve one riddle, it gives you another one, gives you another, gives you another one. And I think it started actually because there were like QR codes posted like around the globe. That was like the weird thing
Yeah,
about it.
like it was in different spots or
Yeah.
something.
And like
that.
you'd scan it and then you would get the first clue. And then
But the conspiracy was that it was like some type of CIA recruitment tool, or
yeah,
like
some kind of
that they
like
were just trying to find
initiation.
like really smart people
Yeah.
like that
So
knew
the
how to do that.
Yeah, the stated purpose of the puzzles each year was to recruit highly intelligent individuals, although the ultimate purpose remains unknown. Theories have included claims that the Cicada 3301 is a secret society with the goal of improving cryptography, privacy, and anonymity, or that it is a cult or religion. Two very different theories. But
So
fuck yeah, I'm all in on this.
apparently there have been people that have gotten to the end of it, but I guess
We'll never know.
No one
Yeah.
knows what happened to
What's
them.
it?
They're
the
in
end
a
of it.
dark.
They got a
pot-
different
yeah,
name
I
now.
think
It
that's-
just says Bush did 9/11. You get through the whole thing.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think that's where the air of
There's
mystery
like
comes
there
from.
used to be this. Damn, dude. When apps first came out, they were so weird. This is from like the Doodle Jump era. Do you remember the app that was just the red button?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I know about that one.
There was this app, and it was your screen is just a red button, and you push it, and then it would say something else, and it was like this. You just push it. It would say, "Don't push this button. Keep pushing this button." It would say something, something, and you push it like 300 times. I think I did it all the way through once, and I think I counted, and I think it was 300 something. And you start to push the button, and it's like if you push this button, something bad's gonna happen or something. It's like the last time somebody pushed this button, you click it again, and it's like just sentence by sentence. It says this thing like, a guy walked into a field, pushed a button, and inside that field there was a box, and in that box there was a big red button, and that button said, "Don't," and it brings you all the way back around to the beginning.
Now that you say that, that does sound familiar.
I just remember the red button on people's
Yeah.
phones. I don't think I ever actually did it.
It's the same fucking
I
thing.
definitely
Yeah,
That's all it
yeah.
does.
But I
One and the
remember
same.
the app where you could pretend to drink a beer.
Oh,
the Tic Tac
The
one?
gun app too.
And the
gun
Zippo
app.
lighter. I was gonna say Zippo
Oh,
lighter.
yeah.
Those
Zippo
were-
lighter.
Those apps.
We
God.
should have never. We should have stayed there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
really
should've
should
never
have.
It's
evolved.
like-
you tilted.
Hey man,
If you see-
I got a beer.
If you see anybody doing that now, you're like, that person's an absolute psychopath.
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh,
why
is
are you
is the
wasting
beer
your
app
time?
still out there? Next time
there's
I
no
go out
way.
with
There's
somebody,
no
I'm
way.
gonna be like, they're gonna be like, "You want something to drink?" No, I'm good. Pull out my phone. It's gonna be hysterical.
You make a good point though. Like if I saw somebody who still had the beer app on their phone, I'd be like,
what are you doing?
"This person has bodies in the basement. This is
Yeah.
bad."
What
news."
about the Action Effects app? The one where like you take a clip and then it does like a halfway decent rendering of it, where it looks like a hellfire missile is coming in and like blowing the entire place. Never seen?
No.
Oh my god, that was like a classic.
Like just throw it on the lunch table and just like have at it. Like
yeah,
just start
like,
playing
like
like,
oh my
action
God.
you film your friend and
I
then like
see. These
you
are
make
the
it look
apps they had in Orchard Park. We didn't
Yeah.
get these.
Yeah, we were
They're
drinking-
not allowed.
We were
Yeah.
drinking beers,
Lot of
man.
in-app-
Shooting guns.
A lot of in-app purchases. Yeah, throwing up Zippo. A lot of in-app purchases on that one. That's why we.
That's so funny. That is
It's
like
hilarious.
role playing the trashiest things possible.
Yeah, drink a beer.
Never
shooting
thought
guns,
about it like
and,
that before.
No Pocket God though.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
God,
a
that
great
game
game.
was fun.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That
Yep.
what was the one?
could throw
What was the
them to
one
the
we used to
moon.
play all the time? It was like it was one of those builder games. Like you had to like build stuff. Oh man,
We used to play Clash of Clans. That was when we were in high school.
there was like a
probably, though.
resort game, or like you like built like
Yes.
what was it
It was
called?
it was a resort, but I think it was similar. It might have been Pocket God like Resort or something like that.
Maybe, but
There
I-
were different versions.
I remember
of
us
that.
sitting on the
Pocket
bus.
God.
I remember us sitting on the bus and like I'm like, oh, I'm building a skyscraper, but I have like 12 hours till it's done or something like
Yeah,
that.
Fuck, dude.
I remember
Pocket
playing that
God,
one,
dude,
just
that
in the
shit was-
neighborhood.
That's nostalgia right there.
Just a bunch of guys with iPod touches laying on the grass.
Yeah, just living the
glory
dream, brother.
days.
Sitting under the
2011.
one tree we
with
had
that
in our
with
front
that
yard.
with that wide charger.
Yeah,
Oh god.
Pocket God Resort.
Nah, man.
Nah,
Something
that-
called God's
That was
Pocket
it.
Resort
Yeah, that's
up in
different.
Canada.
Yeah, yeah. There's just,
Yeah, I don't know about
there's just
that.
glory holes
Free
in every room.
advertising for God's Pocket Resort.
I don't like the sound of that at all. Want to come to God's Pocket, baby?
It's got 13
Oh,
reviews.
13
It's
Google
almost got
reviews.
It's got a four.
Yeah.
It's got a 4.7.
I walked in and somebody tried to suck my.
It's a reliable score.
Yeah, see, just like regular stuff, hiking, bird watching, glory hole activity, just your
Whales.
regular type deal. Oh, a lot
Great
of diving.
spot.
Amazing cold water experience. Looks like a diving place to me. Please come here. See paradise.
the one-star review at the bottom.
Oh,
Just
really?
the troll. Horatio.
Oh, Horatio. Yeah, Horatio had a bad time there. He did not. Do not ask Horatio about his
They
trip to God's Pocket.
They spelled his name wrong or something. You know it.
That
Yeah.
does sound like a National Treasure clue or something though. Like the secret is hidden beyond God's pocket. It's like if you turn the Liberty Bell upside down, it can hold something like a pocket. We've got to go. And there's some taped inside the Liberty
It
Bell.
says
It writes
Horatio,
itself.
1 star.
The eagle is a symbol of the warrior.
We have to find Horatio's glasses.
Hey, no slander on National Treasure. I won't
That's-
stand for it.
Nick Cage is one of the goats.
Oh
yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Dude, I
He
heard
is.
that he's going to be doing a live action noir Spider-Man series.
Oh, that's so perfect.
It could be really cool.
well,
I hope that actually happens.
He's supposed to be in some.
He did the voice of one, didn't he?
Yeah,
already?
Yeah, he
yeah.
did. Yeah. The only thing I know that Nick Cage is going to be in upcoming is some. I don't know what genre it is. It looks like it's going to be like one of those dark, gritty, like crime movies. It's called Long Legs. and I know
long
Nick,
legs.
And what are the long legs? I know Nick Cage's name is on it. The trailers that have come out for it are the trailers that I like, where it doesn't give you any information about it. So I have high hopes for it, and I hope Nick Cage delivers.
He
He always does.
Yeah.
I
guess
don't care
the
what
guy
the,
likes
I don't
to
care
work.
what the
In the
medium
way-
is. He just nails it
In the
every
way
time.
that we love to see him do it.
Should we do the who would win of the week?
Yeah, I know we ought to get into the old who would win. Let me see if I can remember what it is. Hold on. I'm getting there. It is I'm just trying to remember I got it. Duh. The who would win of the week this week is O.J. Simpson versus the Crimson Chin. Obviously the fictional superhero from Fairly Odd Parents. What a matchup. I'm going to see if I can find any, like,
Some
how
dims.
tall the Crimson Chin
Yeah, we
is.
need some more Crimson Chin lore
Yeah.
before we can.
I don't know how to
answer
spell
this question.
crimson.
Crimson. Like the color.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell it.
MSON.
Here comes the Crimson Chin. Nickelodeon fandom.
Where's the
Height and
specs?
weight. Yeah, give me specs. You knows they got them.
You need one of those like top trump cards. Remember those?
Should be
Yeah.
no specs.
Interesting.
Scroll up.
Yeah, try height after.
Yeah. It's the worst. He's from Cincinnati. Just by the way.
No, he's from Cincinnati.
Oh God.
Well, that can't be right.
We don't know his exact height and weight, but in the frame, we said he's 3.5 times taller than Timmy Turner. Timmy's 4'2" height,
Which
makes
makes
the Crimson Show 14'7" tall. First of all,
that's not possible.
look at
Somebody just
the
made that up.
perspective on that fucking camera angle that they've decided to
Yeah,
use.
that just doesn't make any
Scroll down.
sense.
I can't believe someone wasted time doing that.
I'm sure the Crimson Chin
Click
is
that
just
one.
like,
Fairly Odd Parents Wiki. Click that one.
I'm an adult.
Male. Good. No height. So we can just.
How tall is Jay Leno?
It's forbidden knowledge.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna go with not 17 feet tall,
5'10".
whatever that said.
That's kind of scary.
I would bet you that he's pretty, like, compatible
Andy,
height-wise.
put height
too.
in there.
Okay. I figured it'd come around.
6'1". You don't even have to click enter.
All right, there he is. 6'1". I feel like the Crimson Chin might even be a little taller than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd call him 8 foot.
You think the
8
Crimson
foot.
Chin's 8 feet tall?
Is
That's
he human
impossible.
height? All right, let's
Yeah,
call
I
him
think
6'3".
he's like regular.
6'3".
Like,
Let's call him
yeah,
6'3".
I think he's like 6'3" at
That's
least.
a big-
you know,
that's a
I
big
mean,
body.
He is a superhero.
So how long is that chin?
Dude, the chin's. That's what we really need a measurement on.
Here's the thing.
It's got to be at least 10 inches.
Just some
of chin.
linear algebra, just comparing
Yeah.
all of the different
Here's the thing.
proportions.
O.J. Simpson, obviously, one of the best running backs of all time. Obviously, played against a lot of very talented NFL players in a very mean time of the NFL. He probably took a lot of abuse, so we know that he can take a hit. But as I mentioned to you before we started the show, O.J. Could never hurt a fly. He
at
is a
that
convicted
face.
felon.
Sure.
But that was because he was trying to steal back something that was stolen from him.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was an armed robbery attempt.
Oh, okay.
But he never fired the weapon.
And it was his stuff.
Which leads me
And it
to
was his
believe,
stuff.
again, that he, is a
Wouldn't hurt
fairly
a fly.
innocent man. Outside of one small mistake that he made
That
in
barely
his,
anybody even remembers.
in his 70-plus years.
Yes, obviously, we remember O.J. Simpson from his NFL career,
Yes.
nothing else.
Well, the
Yeah, a
acting
lot of
career
yards.
would be the
oh,
second,
that's
right?
right. That's right. The acting career.
Naked Gun still holds up. Funny ass movie.
Yeah.
That's
And the fact that Khloe Kardashian is his daughter. We
Right,
know
right,
that.
right. And that.
too. Yeah.
I feel like this is a pretty good physical matchup, to tell you the truth.
Some big frames.
Some big frames. I mean, it's tough to say what it's actually going to come down to, because I mean, the Crimson Chin, obviously, as a superhero, is used
What are
to
his
fighting
superpowers?
crime.
Can you go back to the old?
He's got a
go
super
back to
chin.
wait, that's it.
He's just basically
Scroll down a little
invincible.
bit. Right there on the right. Keep going. Keep going. He's metahuman.
Here, powers and abilities.
Powers and abilities. Superhuman strength.
invulnerability, near invulnerability. Okay, gunfire. So that that pistol OJ has isn't
What
going to
does
do
it
too
say
much.
about decapitation?
Superhuman hearing?
How are his
X-ray
short range
vision.
combat skills specifically with a knife?
Yeah.
Oh, they've got to be great because the chin is. I mean, you
but
can't
the
get
chin,
any closer in combat
but
than
I
the
think
chin.
the chin is his weak spot.
No, he hits people with his chin, man.
Yeah.
He
That's
like
his
flies
whole
in
thing.
and it goes.
I thought the chin was his weak spot.
No, he doesn't punch people. He goes like that.
That's
Yeah.
true.
OJ's got no chance. Again, as a man of, I believe he was a man of faith. I'm maybe making that up.
OJ, a man of faith,
I
or
think
the
he
Crimson
was.
Chin?
OJ. Dude, that's a funny picture.
Him is.
How would anybody ever
Who
know
Who
is
is
it
that?
that?
was?
Identity?
Who is
Yeah,
that?
Who is that guy?
That just looks like an average news
just
worker.
a just a
Yeah.
mild
Just a-
mannered
just a
reporter.
mailroom guy.
Trying to see if they do. Say.
Why would they put his picture on here?
It must be an ad.
I was looking for his
So
secret identity name.
I think the Crimson Chin wins this fight, and I'll tell you why. Andy, one, he's got superhuman strength. Two,
well, sure.
he's invulnerable, whatever that means.
Not
And
vulnerable.
three, again, I don't like. The Crimson Chin has to fight some serious crime, so he's obviously seen some shit. I don't think OJ has it in his bag to do what it takes to win this fight. Like, I don't think he's willing to cross that line.
But he crosses the goal line. That's got to count
you're
for something.
You're really sticking to that bit.
Sticking to what bit?
I mean, it's in a battle of good versus evil. It's tough not to go with the Crimson Chin in this instance because, again, he has gone up against criminals before, and as you said, OJ's a convicted
Some
felon.
people would say that vigilantes are just as bad.
That's a great point, but he's not robbing banks or anything. You know what I mean? It would be
Well-
an interesting moral dilemma for the Crimson Chin to roll up on OJ stealing his own stuff and be like, which side does he take?
Could the Crimson Chin catch a white Bronco, though? Because I think that's a valid part of the fight.
That's a good point. And I don't know if he's fast enough to get it, but I do think that if he jumped in front of it, he could smack it with his chin and really do some damage to that bumper
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Well, that would effectively kill OJ because OJ had the gun in his mouth when he was in the Bronco.
Jesus Christ.
What? I'm speaking.
Is that
speaking
true?
facts.
I didn't know that.
That was the whole reason that they were. That was the whole reason that they were chasing him.
Oh,
Because
he wasn't driving.
He was
That's
in
right.
the back seat, and the guy who was
Oh.
driving was actually a lineman for the Buffalo Bills when he not at the time, but that had played with OJ, I believe. He
What?
played for the guy who was driving the Bronco had also played for the Buffalo Bills, and he was on the phone with the police. That's why there's that. That's why all those police cars are like a little farther
ingrained in my
back.
head that
Going really
OJ's
slow.
face is in the driver's seat.
No,
I
because
don't know
OJ's
why.
in the back on the phone saying like he's gonna kill
Oh,
himself.
right, yeah.
And that's why they're just like following him. He's saying OJ's saying I want to go home, so they're following him to his house. That was the white Bronco chase.
Can you imagine
Not really
being
a
in
chase.
a police chase and like using your blinker to like get off at this exit where OJ's house is? That's wild. But anyways, anybody have any last thoughts on this battle here?
I just look at that physique.
I mean,
don't
come
think,
on.
I don't think you
Could
can
look at it all day.
He
I
could
mean,
rush for 2,000 yards easy.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
Yeah. Easy. He's got super strength.
Yeah.
OJ's a big build, but
I'm going for the chin on this one also. It's time somebody brings OJ to justice. Well, I guess the Lord kind of has done that work for us now. But
why? Because he passed
'Cause he
away of
died.
cancer?
Yep, that's justice. Jesus.
So disrespectful.
Oh, my
I
God.
didn't know he had cancer. Didn't look into it. I looked into his death about as much as the people did into Nicole Brown Simpson's. Am I right, folks? Or the death of Ron Goldman or
Again-
Rob Goldman.
Yeah. I'm
R.I.P.
locking in the Crimson Chin as well.
I think, oh, man, this is tough. I just don't think you can beat that guy. I mean, he's like made of metal, isn't he? Like his entire.
He's
Is it
invulnerable.
just his chin?
Is it just the chin?
I think just the chin.
Yeah, I can't see OJ doing anything against that guy. I gotta lock in OJ as well.
What do you say?
I think I'll have to cast my vote for the Crimson Chin.
Yeah, Crimson Chin all the way,
Well,
baby.
I just
No,
accidentally.
I
just
yeah.
accidentally locked in OJ. So you know what?
like
I'm gonna lock in OJ.
Now
All
you gotta
right.
double down.
All
if
right.
Judge Ito couldn't lock
So that's
He's a
3 to
great
1.
athlete. He knows
That
how
is
to get
3
things
to 1
done.
for the
It's true.
Crimson Chin. OJ gets one accidental vote from Derek.
There's an asterisk next to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The glove didn't fit. Vote on that on Friday on Instagram. Who would win of the week? The Crimson Chin versus OJ Simpson.
Wonderful one.
we do got to wrap up here shortly. I do wish we could stay longer, but that sometimes tends to be the way that it is. There was one thing that I was kind of waiting to ask. I know we kind of moved off music into movies and then went totally off the rails. But you guys are talking about you're working on a project right now. As it gets into summertime, that's when people love getting out, seeing live music. Is there anything coming up from a project standpoint or a show standpoint that people should be aware of?
You want me to take it?
Yeah,
Sure.
it's all you.
Well, I mean, most recent upcoming thing is we're playing at Mohawk Place. We're just opening on that show, but June 4th, Mohawk Place, and then we do have a show a little far out, but we're going to be headlining at Mr. Good Bar on November 30th.
Nice.
Given how close it is to Christmas, I'm assuming it's probably going to end up being like a ugly Christmas sweater event type deal. That's it for live shows, but we are actively trying to get more shows. But those are the two confirmed. And then in terms of new music, I mean, we have material that we are refining and planning on recording at least sometime this year.
Yeah, and any shows we get, we go and we play whatever songs we want. You know, we usually try to do a blend of originals and covers, and it's just we got a whole summer ahead of us now. Everyone in our band has a pretty established job, so it is kind of hard to find time. And also Jared, Shannon, Kyler, they all live in Rochester, and then me and Alex live in Buffalo. So we like to get together and make music, and we'll be doing that all summer. So we're looking forward to hopefully at some point recording some stuff and putting it out there.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then for those listening that do want to check out Control, where can they find you online?
Okay, so we got our website, control-band.com, and then control.band on Instagram.
Perfect. And then we'll link that stuff, correct, Andy?
Yep.
Check them out. And also go back and check out episode 29. Right? If you're interested. Don't know why you would be, just because.
Classic who would win, though.
Who was it?
It was Maggie Simpson versus Tommy Pickles.
Yep.
That was fresh. That was fresh. We appreciate you guys coming on. It's always a pleasure. It's been just Andy and I for a little bit, so we're glad we could finally I know we bounced back and forth a couple dates here, so no, I appreciate you guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
It was really fun.
It was really awesome.
Good to see you guys. Thanks again.
Andy, I love you.
Love you too. Let's get out of here. Thanks, folks.
All right, thank you.